Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know on how to dominate the game with Renekton. This is a very interesting champion because if you don't play him the right way, you're going to get absolutely smashed. He's like a one-dimensional champion that you really have to play correctly. Otherwise, it feels useless. Like, this champion actually feels useless if you don't play him rightly. So in the beginning part of the video, I'm going to be explaining the build, what to build on Renekton. If you want to skip to the gameplay, immediately timestamps in the description. And I'm going to talk quickly about what I mean with the one-dimensional thing. It's like, there are certain things that you kind of have to do on Renekton, and if you don't do them, it's like he feels so incredibly weak. Like, you're gonna be thinking like, what the hell am I even playing? Why is this champion so weak? And I had that too. I think I've played like maybe 40 games of Renekton for this video, and I'm gonna be talking about all of my experience, what to build, everything, how to play him, all the combos that you need to do. So now let's talk about the build. I've tried different builds, I've tried tank Renekton. I have tried Renekton where you go for a black cleaver and then for a death stance. But let me tell you this, guys. Blade of the Rune King, absolutely the best item in Renekton. Let me explain to you why. Because your second ability, the empowered second ability, deals 3 basic attacks in a very quick succession. So there is a combination that you can do: basic attack and then second ability, the empowered one. So it's basically boom, 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 boom. It's 4 attacks in like what, in half a second or something, or maybe 1 second. And with the Blade of the Rune King, you're gonna be getting that bonus movement speed, taking movement speed from the enemy, deal bonus damage. It's just, you're gonna be getting the passive of the Blade of the Rune King super fast. And it's just like this item is perfect for Renekton. The lifesteal, vampirism, everything is perfect. So after you get this item, you already become very strong on Renekton. Like, this is probably the biggest power spike you'll get on Renekton. Yeah, it's definitely the biggest power spike that you'll get in the entire game. After Blade of the Rune King, you want to get Boots of Speed. And after that, Black Cleaver. This is just always going to be a good item. Black Cleaver always going to be good. If the enemy has 0 tanks, no tanks at all, nothing whatsoever, you could potentially go for a Death Stance second item. I mean, it's pretty good to make you tank. Like, this is going to make you very tanky if the enemy doesn't have any tanks. But as Black Cleaver just synergizes so well with Blade of the Rune King and Renekton. Like, as I said, basic attack second ability is 4 attacks in a very quick succession. So obviously you're going to be shredding so much of their armor immediately, which is really insane on Renekton. And even if the enemy is a bit squishier than normal, it's just still worth it, because you're going to be shredding so much of their armor. Okay, so the boots that you want to get is situational. I really like to go for armor boots, plated steel caps, because Renekton kind of struggles with tankiness in the late game. So, getting the armor boots is going to help you tank up that damage from a lot of attack damage champions. But if the enemy has a lot of ability power, you can also choose to go for Ionic Boots of Lucidity. It's just like, it's kind of hard to decide, because going for Mercury's Threats only against ability power is not worth it, because it only gives you 10 magic resist. So you're much better off just going for the Ionic Boots of Lucidity or Glutinous Griefs. Now, Glutinous Griefs are going to be good for you if you just want to keep fighting, if you want to be a real fighter, because this is going to give you more vampirism, so it's going to heal you up. It's going to heal you up more if you deal a lot of damage to the enemies. Obviously, you go for the Mercury Threats if the enemies have a lot of charms, roots, basically any CC. This is a must buy if they have a lot of CC. You always have to get it. Otherwise, you're going to get one shot in team fights. Trust me on this one. Out of all of my experience, when you're playing against Seraphim, Varus, Ari, champions like that, get the Mercury Threats on Renekton, because you are not tanky. Even though he looks like a, like a beefy boy, like a very strong dude, like look at him, he looks like very strong and tanky. He has that armor, right? But if you look at your build, these 2 items are no tanky items. You only get a little bit of HP, but you have no magic resist, no armor. So that's why you don't want to be locked down by stuns and things like that. So then you go for the Mercury Threats. As your third item, it's situational. Start stage is always going to be good, but if the enemy has a lot of burst damage, right, like Katarina, Akali, Evelyn, champions that just have a lot of burst damage, even Garen, because of Garen's ultimate, Death Stance is going to be really good for you, because Death Stance is going to allow you to delay 30% of the damage taken over the next 3 seconds. Also, it gives you more health and it gives you attack damage. It's just very good on Renekton, you know, to delay your death and keep fighting, healing up. It's just really good on Renekton, guys. So as I said, Starbucks Cage, amazing item on Renekton. So you either want to get Death Stance first or Starbucks Cage. Starbucks Cage is always good. Get Death Stance before the Starbucks Cage if you're against a lot of burst damage. And as your last item, you know, just go for the Guardian Angel. It's always going to be a good item. You can, like, if if the enemy has a lot of ability power, like really a lot, you can also choose to get a Force of Nature, and you could even get the Force of Nature as your 4th item. So do this if the enemy really has like a massive ability power carry, like Ziggs that's hard carrying their game, or Orianna that's dealing a lot of damage. Then you could choose to go for the Force of Nature as your 4th item. You can also go for the Spirit Visage if your team has an Enchanter support who can heal you up a lot, like Sona, like Soraka, like Janna, you know, things like that. So that, you know, you have a lot of options with Renekton. So that's pretty much how you build Renekton. Oh, about the enchantments. So I really like either Stasis if you're against Zed, Fizz, you know, champions that can one-shot you with their combos. Proto Belt is good if you want to catch up to an enemy and stun them. But what's also good is Teleport. This one is really good to split push and just teleport to your team when they need you, right? We're already 6 minutes into the video, so let me just quickly talk about the runes. Conqueror. Same as the Blade of Rune King, same as the Black Cleaver, you can easily stack up the Conqueror, guys. With the 4 basic attacks that you get with the empowered second ability, it's so easy to stack it up, so always go for Conqueror. And as my second rune, now here I actually like to go for Brutal, and that's because of the early game damage that it provides you. It's just really good. Like, you know, when you when you fight in your lane, the Brutal is really gonna allow you to actually win your lane against almost every matchup. Fiora could still be annoying because Fiora is like the most broken Baron laner in the game, but against pretty much any other Baron laner, you should win if you use Brutal. Now, see here, it's a bit controversial. I've tried many different ones, and I gotta say, I like conditioning the most. See, the big weakness of Renekton, when you go for a build like mine, is late game tankiness. You're not tanky at all. You have 0 magic resist, 0 armor. So what is conditioning gonna do? It's gonna give you that 8 armor, 8 magic resist, and every 2 minutes, you get 2 armor and 2 magic resist on top of that. This is gonna provide you a lot of value because you have, like, you don't have any armor and magic resist. And the tankier you get, you know, the more damage that you can deal, of course. See, you can also choose to get Hunter Titan if the enemy has a lot of stuns, charms, and things like that. But the thing is, you can already get Mercury's threats against that. So when you get the Mercury's threats, don't go for the Hunter Titan, just go for conditioning. See, conditioning is useless in the early game, but if you with the Brutal should already help you be strong enough to kind of get through the early game, and conditioning is just so good for the late game. Really, you really need it, trust me, guys. As your 4th rune, Sweet Tooth, because Sweet Tooth is broken yet again. So for your spells, you want to use Flash and Ignite. I don't like to use Barrier on Renekton, because Ignite is just so much better on him to finish off enemies. So now let's get into the gameplay, and yes, man. I played like 40 games of Renekton for this video, and it may seem like a lot, but I played Renekton like throughout the last 2 weeks or something, right? And I really... See, there is a reason that I do this, because I don't just want to make a video, like a gameplay video, where I give you in-depth tips about how to play a champion micro and macro-wise, when I've only played the champion like 5 times, right? So that's why I actually choose to play champions a lot before I actually make a video on them. See, after this Renekton video, it's only gonna take me like a few more games to get even better at Renekton. I mean, I'm already pretty good at Renekton, but let's like talking about future videos. Maybe in 1 month I'll make another Renekton video where I teach you about new strategies and things like that. So just so you know, that's pretty much what goes behind my videos, right? Like a lot of games. And so, okay, enough about that. Let's now actually talk about Renekton. So firstly, you upgrade your first ability. I've tried upgrading my second ability. It's not worth it, because when you engage onto the enemy under the minions at level 1, even if you stun them with your second ability, you are gonna lose the trade. See, the reason for that is because the minions are gonna outtrade you. And take a look at this. Boom! Did you see what just happened? My first ability, the empowered first ability especially, whenever you hit minions around you, it heals you up massively. So the way that you want to do it, let's take a look at what's going to happen here by the double kill, triple kill, what? This Graves just got a triple kill. What the hell? So what I was gonna say is, oh, this was so smart what I did here. Oh, this was so smart. So what I did here was disgusting. So I dashed through a minion with my third ability. I went to his fruit. I took the fruit, you know, with my sweet tooth, got 60 gold, and I went out. That's a thing that you can do on Renekton, which could be very cheeky and incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, I took two turret shots for no reason at all, which was really stupid. Take a look at this. Boom, boom. I hit him and I disengage. Easy. I'm almost level 5. What did I do? I got a minion and I got level 5 and I survived. Oh, what a beautiful play. Okay, this needs rewinding. You need to rewind this and watch. What I did here, I'm going to explain what I did there now, and if you want to look at it back, you need to rewind the video. So when I killed the Malphite, I stunned him, used a basic attack, first ability, ignite, and then I flashed out of his turret. I knew that they was going to kill him, you know, after playing Renekton for a lot of games, you'll kind of know how much damage you're going to be able to deal, so you'll be able to do things like I just did, right, where I killed the Malphite because I knew that the ignite was going to kill him. And after that, I got ganked by the Kazakhs. If I would have just fought him or tried to run away, I would have died guaranteed. You know, Kazakh would have just killed me. But I realized, hey, I am super close to level 5. So what did I do? I went under the minions. I took one minion. I also healed up. You know, when you hit your first ability in the middle of a lot of enemy minions, you're going to heal up. Oh, he's coming again. Yeah, I'm dead. They used everything for me, but... like, this is fine, this is okay, because they used everything for me. So what I was talking about, yeah. So I got my level 5, and of course when you get level 5, I used my ultimate, and then I was totally fine. So always, the lesson that you can take out of that is always pay attention to when you're getting the next level. This could be game changing. Let me tell you why. So when you level up, you don't just level up, you also get more HP. Right, your HP levels up as well. So that little buff that you're gonna get to your HP could be the difference between life and death. And especially when you level up from level 4 to level 5, you're gonna get your ultimate, right? Which could as well be game changing, as you saw during this fight. So always pay attention. Like right now, as you can see, I'm almost level 7. You can see that, you know, you can see the circle. So over here, right, over there, do you guys see the circle here above my head? You can see that I'm level 6 right now, and I just got level 7 because I was very close to level 7. So always pay attention to that. Right now I'm here and I'm kind of, you know, I want to fight. I want to fight here. So let's take a look at what's going to happen. Oh, this is too much. This is too much. Look at what I did here. You can, like, I could have pretended that this was calculated right now in my video. But let me tell you this. This was an absolutely horrendous, horrible engage for me as a Renekton. This is what you don't want to do as a Renekton. You don't just want to go in against a champion that has big CC, like Ahri. See, Ahri can charm me, and this is devastating for Renekton. This is, like, as I said, CC is absolutely devastating for Renekton. When you get charmed, when you get taunted by Galio, for example, when you get stunned, things like this is what's gonna get you killed on Renekton. And that's why I'm saying, before you do things like that, you really need the Mercury threads. What I should have done instead, I should have let the Graves engage, not me. I should go after the Graves. So in the early game, when you're playing Renekton, you don't want to be the main initiator. You kind of want to be the second initiator, right? So what should you get out of this? You don't want to draft Renekton if your team has 0 tanks. You want to have Renekton if your team at least has one, you know, somewhat of a tank. Like Vi is also okay in the jungle, for example, but Lee Sin is not okay. So you need at least one somewhat of a tank. It doesn't even have to be like a super tank or like an initiator, right? That's why I said Vi is actually really good, because she can initiate a fight and then you can follow up after her, because then the enemy is not going to fully damage you. They're also going to be damaging the other champion that engaged. So keep that in mind when playing Renekton. Don't make the mistake that I just did there. I was just incredibly lucky to survive. I'm being honest with you guys. I was just lucky there. Here I used my third ability to engage on him. Unfortunately, I didn't hit him with the empowered third ability. Look at this. This is what you can do on Renekton, guys. The ultimate ability. Oh, man, this Kha'Zix is just in my lane all the time. This guy is just in my lane. They want to swap lane. And this is actually a very smart move here. And the reason for that is because the Rift Herald has spawned. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the Rift Herald spawned. So if the ADC and the support go to bot lane and I go to top lane, it could potentially be a 4 versus 3 situation. Because if the Malphite doesn't actually go to top lane, right? You know, it's a 4 versus 3 then. So that's why it's actually very smart to switch lane when the Rift Herald is up and the dragon has already been taken. So as you can see right now, we have an advantage on this side of the map. Here I go in with my third ability, I stun him, and boom, easy peasy kill. This was a really good engage. And see, the thing with Renekton is, you can engage really far into the enemy. All you gotta do is hit your third ability on a minion or an enemy champion. When you do that, you can recast your third ability again and dash even further. So as you saw, the way that I engaged that was I used my third ability on a minion and then another third ability to get close to the Ahri, and I just killed her easily. Very easily. So right now I can get a black cleaver, but there is really no threat to me here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the lane, gonna take some farm, take the honey fruit, right? I'm just gonna farm up even further because I can. So if you look at the map, only the Kha'Zix is here. What the hell is a Kha'Zix gonna do against a Renekton, guys? Absolutely nothing. This Kha'Zix cannot do anything against me, and that's just because my champion is pretty good into Kha'Zix, right? So, and he really just smited that minion. Like, bro, are you kidding me? You're doing me dirty like that? Yeah, that was just dirty. He just smited that minion. So as you can see, what I'm doing here, I'm just checking the jungle, right? Checking the red buff, checking anything. I'm just taking farm. I'm farming up. And the reason that I can safely farm up like this, just like I'm doing right now, is because as you can see, the enemies were all on the bot side of the map. Right now I saw that they were backporting, so I'm just running away. It's as easy as that. So map awareness is very important when you're playing the game, right? Like, if you didn't actually look at the map, you might have thought like, hey, you're playing way too aggressive. What if the enemy just ganks you? But if you had actually looked at the map, you would have seen that everyone except for the... Wait, let me just turn off the... There it is. What was I saying? Yeah, if you looked at the map, you would have been able to see that everyone except for the Kha'Zix was on the bot side of the map. So I could just easily take the jungle, push lane, things like that. Let's take a look at this. I engage into the enemy. Look at how much damage I'm dealing. Damn. It's crazy. Here, look at this. I have my stun again. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, and boom. So let me explain the booms right now. Basic attack. Second ability. Basic attack. First ability. You really want to use an empowered second ability. This is pretty much the most powerful empowered ability that Renekton has. And here I screwed up. I went on the wrong target. If I had hit the Kha'Zix, I would have killed the Kha'Zix. That was so stupid of me. That was so stupid. You know what I thought? I thought that I was going to be able to kill both of them. But that's not the case. See, Renekton doesn't deal that much burst damage. I mean, he does do a good amount of burst damage. But it's not like, you know, it's not like Evelyn or Lee Sin or something. So, what I should have done there is I should have just killed the Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix was at 40% HP. I would have easily been able to go to kill the Kha'Zix easily. And if I did that, Ahri would have not been able to kill me anymore. So that was just... I really hope you guys are learning from these mistakes too, right? Like, I'm not uploading perfect games. And the reason for that is because otherwise you cannot learn from the mistakes, right? So that's why I upload games like this, where I'm actually 4-on-4. But, there's a but. I have one of the most gold in the game right now. And let me tell you the reason of that. It's because of my aggressive playstyle in the enemy jungle. I've been... Wait, oh yeah, I asked for a PC. And people are actually recommending me a PC to buy right now. Oh, look at this. This is... Okay. This is testing your knowledge today. So, I just got killed here. Is it okay or is it not okay? Put it in the comments. Like, did I just make a huge mistake, or is it okay or is it not okay? Put it in the comments. So let's take a look at the game right now. 5 enemies are on the top side of the map. what is my team doing? Take the Baron. If they had immediately gone for the Baron, they would have easily been able to take the Baron there. Because 5 enemies were on the top side of the map, no one was near the Baron, and like it was a free Baron. But as you can see, they're still doing the Baron, but it's perhaps a bit questionable to do it now. It's risky because the Kazakhs can actually steal it. So let's take a look what's gonna happen. The Graves did get it, and I'm teleporting to help them, but they could have gone for it earlier, because literally 5 of them collapsed on me, so they should have gone for it earlier. Yeah, he jumped away, so... so you can see how powerful Renekton can get in the game, right? Like when you're doing pretty well, when you're farming really hard, and when you get that double item power spike, Blade of the Rune King and Black Cleaver, you become so powerful in 1v1 situations, like against that Kazakhs, for example. And with the empowered second ability, whoa, you're gonna be stacking up those items super fast. You're gonna be dealing a lot of damage, like a lot of damage to them. So the problem with Renekton is, if you get destroyed in the early game, you can't really make a very easy comeback into the game. He's not the type of champion that just becomes incredibly strong in the late game. In fact, he actually falls off in the late game. So you kind of have to do stuff in the early mid game. That's why you saw me rotate to the dragon, saw me do these aggressive rotations in their jungle, saw me take a lot of farm, saw me take those fights, right? I don't want to get to the late game. So let's take a look at this fight. 2 of our teammates are on the top side of the map. 5 of them are here. I am just gonna make sure they don't go back. I'm not gonna fully engage, because we're gonna lose the fight if I fully engage. So let's take a look at what's gonna happen. They're just pushing. Look at this. They're pushing. I am not gonna let them backport. Here, take a look at this. And they all got nearsighted by the Graves, and that's when I go in. That is when I go in. So a thing to understand with Renekton is, when you want a time to go in, I already explained to you, you want to go after the first tank. But there is actually another good way to engage. If your teammates stun the enemies, charm them, knock them up, like a lot of them, it's also a perfect moment to engage, right? Because they're all stunned or charmed or something like that. As I said, you almost never really just want to engage on Renekton. You either want to wait for your teammates, or you want to wait for a big stun, knock up, things like that. So that was it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and let's take a look at how much damage everyone did. Pretty decent, huh? So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.